Hi there and welcome back to Hungary. I just got back from a trip and I have some devastating news. I have mites. Well, my chicken shed has mites. My chickens have mites, so I need to take care of them. And it's gonna be a big job because I have to clean this entire thing out. I clean out the inside of the actual little coop, get as much of the contaminated dirt out. Even though they don't infest the dirt, they infest on the wood structures. So I need to figure out a good way to get rid of all of these mites. So I need to clean everything out, and then I'm going to spray it with a few things, and you'll see what those are in a minute. So I'm going to need to clean out the chicken shed first, because at the bottom in the chicken little coop, I took out the slide in, slide out bottom of the coop, and I just filled it with compost or things to decompose. And that's worked out really well. It was really helpful during the winter because it helped to keep the temperature inside regulated. Highly recommend that. But now, since it's all infested, I need to take it all out. I'll just put it in the compost. I don't mind because mites don't live without a host, so they will just die off and decompose in a hot compost. So I'm going to do that. And that's going to be a lot of work, but here we go. I now know, after a little bit of cleaning, I can confirm that we have mites, little blood mites, because I took off this little piece of wood here, and I saw this. This is 100% proof that we have blood mites, which is good that I can confirm that, because now I know how to take care of them. I can just spray the heck out of every wood surface. Okay, so I just sprayed the bejeebers out of every wood surface in this place. And now everything is just sopping wet, which is awesome and not, because nothing is good when it's wet. So I'm gonna let it dry out for a bit, and then I'm gonna spray it. Because by what I've seen, after the good spray, if you take a look around, you'll see the mites moving about, and it's pretty easy to wipe out the first layer of mites with the water, which is spraying the heck out of it. It's the eggs that you have to worry about coming back. So with that, we have a special spray which is coming up soon. So this is what I'm going to put on every wood surface that I can manage inside the chicken shed, starting with the little bits here. This is not what I planned to do, because it turns out the mixture that is more DIY is just a few parts water, oil, and dish soap, and that helps to suffocate all the tiny mites. But we don't have oil. We don't have cooking oil, because we don't use cooking oil. We use duck fat. So if this doesn't do the job, I will do backup, which would be the more natural or more DIY version. But I have a feeling, since this is built for all these different kinds of things, including fleas, spider mites, or silverfish, pincher bugs, ants, spiders, I have a feeling it's going to kill these mites and probably take them out at the source. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. Turn this on, and just so let's go inside the chicken shed and give this a shot. Now, as far as I understand, since this is what's called BO kill, it's safe to use inside our house against ants. And so I don't believe it's going to be toxic to the chickens. But either way, I'm going to spray the heck out of this and then block it off for a few days so the chickens can't get in here, just to let it settle in and do its job. And what I'm going to do here is just go to town, spraying the heck out of this thing. Well, that's it for this area, and I'm going to let this sit for a few days, then probably hit it with another round of this before I let it sit for another couple of days, and then see how we're managing. If I see any mites moving around, then I will hit it again, but we will see how this turns out. I have a feeling that this is going to do a good job, so excited to see. And just as a precaution, I'm going to go ahead and just scan this over on the outside, just to make sure to see if I see any little mites. Because if there's none or wandering about out here, then I'm not going to worry about using up this. But if I see even one, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to go after it. I see no mites wandering about, so I'm going to hold off on spraying the outside until I see one. Or if I don't, then I'm going to save some of this. I did find some mites crawling around on this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and spray this post and probably the rest of the posts, because if I can see him on this one, I'll probably be able to see him on the rest. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I don't see any up here. I'm actually gonna take a look at this because I can watch this mite. So because I can't let the chickens back into the house for at least a week, they're gonna have to chill out here and just, I hope and pray that the fox doesn't come back and wipe them out. But I also am going to make them a place where they can dust bathe, like properly dust bathe. So I'm gonna put in this, which is our rabbit, in the bottom of our rabbit cage, I'm gonna put a mixture of soil, like native soil that's been dried out a bit, wood ash, diatomaceous earth, and then if I can rummage up some dry sand, I'll just chuck some of that in there as well, because that's going to give them a really good chance to suffocate the mites that are on them, because obviously that is what's causing their issues. So that's my plan. So I'm going to put it underneath this, which is our rabbit cage, because it's somewhat protected from the rain, obviously not from the sides, but I'm going to give it a shot and try and make it to where it's a good dry area for them to be able to just dust bathe. In the meantime, as everything dries out, I'm going to make a little dust bath for the chickens. And there's a reason I'm not just dumping it in, because it would cause a plume of dust that is not ideal for myself nor the chickens. I got this big tub of diatomaceous earth on Amazon, and I've been using it for quite a while. It's such a helpful thing for so many things. And I've had it for like half a year, and you don't need to use too much at all, just in general. But in this context, I want to use as much as I need to use, so I'm going to use it quite sparingly, and hopefully the chickens love it. And it's non-toxic. The chickens can eat it. I put it in with our food about every other time that I put the food all together, and works out really well. So it's non-toxic, and in fact it's good for the chickens. Now this is all ready for them to bathe in, and hopefully they get right into it and start getting rid of those mites on their bodies. Now there's a mixture that I want to spray on the chickens that's more safe, that will suffocate, hopefully suffocate all of the little mites on there, because when you look at them you can see that they have little mites. So that's going to be 2 parts water to 1 part oil with just a dab of washing liquid, so dishwasher liquid, not dishwasher but dishwashing liquid. You can also use it on your hands, so it's perfectly safe for the chickens. This is one that we love. It's just Soul Drops. We get it from Rossmann. Doesn't matter. So I've already put the water in here. I'm just going to put in the oil. And this is just the cheapest oil I could get from the store. The oil doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be some... This is sunflower seed oil. So you gotta be pretty generous with this. I'd say that's about 2 parts. And the reason for the washing liquid is because oil and water don't mix. So if you put this in here, it adds a little bit of holding power. So you don't want too much of that, just enough to kind of create that holding power. And then you shake it up really good. Hi, girl. And that helps it to mix. And so when you're doing this, make sure to shake it a lot. And then you just choose a chicken and go. Keeping them straight, which one's which, is going to be the hardest part. So I'm going to start with this one. The chickens have actually been doing a really good job of bathing themselves in the mixture. So I have a few more chickens to do this, but I'm gonna have to chase them around. So I don't want you chasing me around, following me around while I'm chasing them. So that is the deal. And I know I'm sitting weird. So I will keep doing this at probably every few days. I haven't seen any mites on them now, which is good. But this is just more of a precaution to really take care of them. And I'm also gonna spray this inside. So I haven't seen any mites. I haven't checked this morning, but I haven't seen any mites crawling around inside of the house. So I'll give it one more shot with this, give it a few more days, and then hopefully that will take care of all of the little, I wanted to say seeds, but I know eggs, all the little eggs of the mites. So we'll see how this holds up. We'll keep our fingers crossed because I think this has done the trick. And I'm gonna go to town on the house because I think we're doing good. So this mixed with the BioKill mixed with the good dust bath, I think we're gonna be in good shape with these chickens. Because the dust bath is the most preventative measure because it's more natural for them. Obviously, chickens dust bathe, and if they have a good place to dust bathe, they'll be in good shape. And all of them are picking at themselves now because of this. They just don't like it. It probably is not super comfortable, which is okay because that's why it suffocates all of the little mites. So here we go. And we'll meet back here in a few days to see how things have gone. To make sure everything in the house is A-okay, chickens are A-okay, and I think we're going to be in good shape. So see you in a few days. So I'm spraying the heck out of this house with this mixture to really coat this. So this is my third time spraying everything, and I really want to coat everything so it really suffocates all of the mites, even if they're not necessarily here at the moment. I know the eggs are a tricky part. So it's important to really spray in the crevices because that's where the mites really like to live and hang out. And plus, doing this is not terrible for the health of the chickens, but also just the cleanliness of the chicken shed. So I'm going to be doing this pretty regularly after the chickens start living in here because it can't hurt to spray because this is non-toxic and there's no issue with spraying this in the chicken shed. And you know what's really, really cool? I just noticed this. Because the chickens are not in here, we've got grass and weeds growing in here. So they're gonna love that when they come back in here. I didn't even think about that. So that's a cool bonus to giving this shed a good rest. A 2-week rest is pretty good for any shed, giving it just kind of a reset. So yesterday we put the spray on most of the chickens and I think it did an okay job. However, I was looking at their reactions during the day and they were picking at their legs, like at the bottom of their legs, or where the feathers meet the legs. And so I picked one up and I looked and there was still some mites on the legs. And so I realized that just spraying it's not probably going to do a great job or a thorough job. So I've decided to take this bucket, filled it with water, and I'm going to make that mixture inside the bucket. I'm going to dunk the chickens and massage the oily, soapy water onto their bodies to really kind of coat the entirety of their feathers in their body. So I think that's going to be a lot more effective than the other method. I'm not going to be able to do the same ratio because I don't have that much oil, but I think I'll be able to manage. I'm not really able to shake this, so I'm just doing my best to stir it up best I can. And now, the most fun part is getting these girls in there. And what I'm doing inside, you can't really see, is I'm massaging their feathers and their bodies to really get the oil set into their skin. I know it's not going to be that comfortable for them after the fact because they're going to be walking around wet and oily, but that's kind of the point. And it'll also be a lot easier for me to keep track of who I've done this to. Come here, girl. This one always stomps when I try and pick her up. It's weird. No other chicken I've had stomps. This is my least favorite part of doing this because I have to chase the chickens and that stresses them out. The older ones are definitely more docile. And I don't think I've addressed this in any video prior to this, but the reason we have a chicken in here, in the cage, is because she was very exploratory when she was younger, and I believe she jumped from a high place and broke her hip. So her right leg is not functional very much, so she's hobbling around, and so we're trying to keep her in there to see if it kind of heals up. I doubt it will, but it also keeps her from being picked on. So she'll be fattened up for a certain reason. But we're trying to keep her as comfortable as possible. She's doing well. She's recovering well, I think. There's been a few days where she's not as active, but it's fine. Off you go. It's really difficult to find and catch this one. Finally caught her. Now, for the last one, which we call Chuggers. She's the fat one. So the reason I'm doing her last, it was very intentional, is she has a bit of bumblefoot still. And so I didn't want to intoxicate or contaminate the water to then give it to everybody else. So she's getting the last, and I'll give her a bit more of a extended bath just to soak her feet, because that always helps. And because this is soapy water, this will also help clean it. And I've never given my chickens a bath before, so this is interesting. And there's one note: you don't have to use gloves necessarily, but just as a safety precaution, and because I don't want my hands to just be super oily after this, I would recommend using gloves. Good girl. Good girl. Go down a little bit. So this is how I'm getting rid of mites, and I'm hoping and praying that this actually does the job, because after this I will let them sit for a few more days outside of the shed, because I did spray that again yesterday. I will probably do that again today with the soapy, oily mixture, and just hope to the best, because there's not really any way to fully get rid of them aside from burning everything to the ground, which I'm not going to do because I spent a lot of time building this. But I'm really hoping that this is the end of these mites. I'll probably do this soak 1 or 2 more times just to really ensure that we're killing all of the mites themselves, but also the eggs, because the eggs are the tricky part, because they are not fully grown and they can be more protected from the environments. Itch. Good girl. But I will give an update probably in a few days. I won't film doing this part again because you don't want to see me doing this all again. But I'll give us an update within the next few days and see how things are progressing. Because in the next few days I'll keep an eye on their mite infestation and see how we are able to get rid of everything. I'm praying that they go away and they don't come back, because I'll be much more intentional with just doing the soapy, the mixture, the oily mixture, probably every month, and just spray the heck out of every crevice on inside there. Be more intentional with what I put inside of the house, because I did put a lot of wood chips, which is not bad, but I think that encouraged the mites. It gave them a lot more surface area to live in. And so, general tip for chicken care: if you notice that your chickens are not sleeping in their normal spot, they're opting to sleep outside of their house or outside of their roosting area, and they don't have egg laying, so they're not laying a lot of eggs, you might have mites. So check to see if you have mites. You can check by looking at the vent on the back near the bum, the bottom of their feathers on their legs, so right there, and then under the wings. Those are very popular spots for mites to hang out because they're moist, they are protected from the elements, and these girls, they get stressed out when they have mites. So keep an eye on them. If you do get mites, wash them, bathe them in the soap, water, and oil mixture, because that will hopefully take care of the mites. So I found all of these mites underneath their food baskets. Most of them are blood mites. As you can see, there's hundreds of thousands of them. It's awful. So this is going to give me good research whether this spray actually suffocates them. So we'll see how that works. It's only been a few minutes, and I already can see that this has made a big difference, because none of these are moving anymore. So we'll see what happens when this actually dries out. See if it's made a difference at all. But so far it looks to be quite effective. So it seems as soon as they start drying out, they start moving around quite prolifically. So, squashing it is. So clearly this didn't do a good job. So I'm gonna hit it with that bio kill and see how effective that is. Because you can see that these guys are still moving around. It's been a few hours, and I can see that there's not any movement on this, which means that bio kill spray did its job, which makes me happy, because now I know that that is far more effective than the DIY spray, at least for these kinds of clusters. All right, it's been a few weeks since we started this whole process, and I'm happy to report that there are no mites left on the chickens, no mites left in the coop, at least that I can see. I've been spraying the heck out of it for the last few weeks. The chickens are very dusty because they're bathing in the dust every day, all day long, which is good. And then I'm ready to put everything back into there, and then let the chickens sleep in there tonight, because 1, I believe it's ready. 2, I caught a weasel on our camera last night, so I don't want to leave the chickens out again, because the weasels love to just wipe out chickens for some reason. They wipe them out, they don't eat them, they just kill them, just for the fun of it. So I'm going to put everything back into the shed, into the coop, and let the chickens back. But I have to do a few little things before they can let the chickens back in. Now, one of the main things that I have to do before I let the chickens back in is set the ground. So previously, I had this filled with just things to decompose, a lot of wood chips and a lot of just tree bark and stuff. But now, since the mites love the wood surfaces, I'm going to reinsert this guy, which is just the bottom for this. And so I will do that and then just fill this with sand, because that's the safest bet to discourage the mites from reinfesting. So I'm going to do that. The sand was made into a bunch of sandbags when we were getting a lot of flooding a couple of years ago. So it's just been sitting in these bags for a few years. And since I fixed the issue that caused the flooding, we no longer need it. So I'm happy to put it in here. You know what's really cool is when you let the soil rest, even in here, you find little surprises. I found a lot of little seedlings popping up here. I'm not sure exactly which what it is. I know some of it is wheat, but some of it looks like broccoli or peppers or squashes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cordon off this little section and just let these things grow, because I'd love to see what's growing in here, because we throw in all of the compost or the food scraps in here, and I don't know why they're right here and not really anywhere else. I'm curious. So I'm gonna cordon this off and not let the chickens into this little 2 square foot area. So I'm really excited to see what these are. Praise the Lord for little surprises. All right, here we go. I'll let the chickens back in. Let's see how eager they are to get in here. So that's it. We are done. We've taken care of the mites. Hopefully they are completely eradicated. I'll keep on this, so I will probably continue to spray every other day just to make sure that this is really taken care of. But other than that, we are done. We've completed our task, and my understanding, my feedback regarding the sprays, the BioKill spray does wonders. It does take care of the mites pretty aggressively within a few hours. However, the oil and soap spray is not as effective. It is effective, but more for washing the chickens, because that just completely suffocates the mites. The spray on the chickens didn't work, and it was more the bath. So doing the bath with the chickens, massaging them, that worked really well. And it's been a few days. You can still see that there is a little bit of oil still on their feathers, which is completely fine. And that's it. That's my feedback from this experiment, from this journey. So I hope you learned something as much as I did, because it was a long, tumultuous journey, and it's finally over. Hopefully I don't have to do another one of these rounds with the mites, but I'll keep you up to date. Doing a long form video for this is not going to be ideal, so stay tuned to my shorts. If they come back, that's where you'll see it. And yeah, stay tuned. If you like this content, please subscribe, please like and comment and share, because this is a community. We are learning together. I don't want to learn alone. I want to teach you what I'm learning. So like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. This is how to get rid of mites. And until next time, peace on Preventative, and goodbye.